Today I'd like to speak to all of those that are perhaps new to spirituality, that are what I call intelligent seekers, are just coming out of the din or the fog of normal life as it's doled out, and have um, bravely, intelligently, and courageously embraced some alternative idea or notion or thought about how the world works and what our role is in it and who we are. Now, I say this in the context of spirituality because that's could be viewed as religion too. But in this case, you are embracing it without a the context of religion, or without the context of some socially accepted route or path or philosophy. So raw spirituality, in other words. So within the context of just general spirituality, there's a type of funnel that you could view this process as. A funnel where at the beginning stages of your interest in spirituality, there might be things like just an interest in mindfulness, or an interest in settling and trying a meditative practice, something that is just gets you in some sort of habit of finding some space and calmness in your life. Others might be interested in something that is more oriented toward giving them an answer or proof about the spiritual business. Maybe something to do with dreams or out-of-body experiences, or a Kundalini experience, or something that they can sink their teeth into that says, yes, aha, this stuff is real. So that could lead you down a path that is about all of those things. About, for instance, I was involved with out-of-body experiences and listening to binaural beats and hemisync tapes when I was in my early 20s as a means to gain some proof about spirituality. And then others of us might just have a general interest in, let's say, things like psychic phenomena, reincarnation, even UFOs, just alternative ways to view this world and this reality. And all of that, more or less, is at the top of the spiritual funnel, wherein it's a smorgasbord that you're looking at. Okay, so now I will tell you right now that this is an unabashed advertisement for spiritual awakening. Because if you viewed all of spirituality as a beautiful symphony, okay, with hundreds of notes and different passages and ups and downs, etc., there is always a root note. There's a root note that is the key that the symphony is in, C major, let's say. Okay, so this root note, and again, this is my unabashed advertisement here for spiritual awakening. That root note is, generally speaking, down here through the funnel. It's awakening itself, it's peace itself, happiness itself, fulfillment, raw truth. How does that work? Well, you just got to look at it. It's not rocket science. It's just common sense. It's the building blocks of the process. Essentially, let's say you're interested in an out-of-body experience, so you got to pick it apart. Okay, if we pick this out-of-body experience apart, you're interested in the. Okay, so now you're getting you've done this for a couple of months. Maybe you're listening to some tapes to induce an out-of-body experience, and finally you have one. Okay, and it's absolutely exciting. It's absolutely amazing that you are viewing yourself from a distance, and you repeated this thing, and it just is totally blown your world and your mind open. Okay, pause right here. Let's examine that feeling that you're having right there, totally separate from the context of the out-of-body experience. Let's examine what we got going on there. We have an emotional high. We have a release from limitation. We have a release from our normal understanding of the world. We have an opening into another reality. We have a whole new paradigm of looking at life. Okay, so now we're going to take that, we're going to boil it down even further. Okay? Now we have all those concepts, all right? And basically all of them contain overtones of wellness, overtones of relief, overtones of happiness, right? Overtones of joy, of understanding. Let's boil this down even further. We're going further into the funnel, right? Okay? So finally, we just discover the raw truth. The raw truth is this freedom that lies beneath all of these other things that I spoke of. It's the single note. Spiritual awakening is the single note that percolates throughout all of the other parts of spirituality, that is beckoning to you, that is calling to you. Whether you're interested in yoga or meditation or drumming workshops or dancing or psychic phenomena or UFOs. It all contains this note that's saying freedom this way, happiness this way, fulfillment this way. And whether or not you listen to that, that's really the beauty of the path. It kind of, you meander through it, and sometimes you can hear that note more clearly than at other times. But again, I just want to make you aware of this so that you don't get stuck for lengthy amounts of time. I'm not saying that any of this is not important. It is very important to discover truth, to discover your path, to discover the thing that interests you. Absolutely. But if you're stuck there for years at a time, for decades, then I think that's a problem. I think that that's something then that needs to be addressed. And so that the reason I'm mentioning this to you in this video is that so I can call your attention to that note, to that single note of awakening that's always there, that's blowing around, and you're just sort of missing it. So all of these things that are about spirituality, all the different paths, all of the various facets that it can take on, contain this one little note if you follow the funnel down to it. And this one little note is happiness, fulfillment, peace, itself, unconditional, without any attachment to anything. It's just the note itself. Doesn't require an instrument. Doesn't require that you go sit and meditate. Doesn't require that you have an out-of-body experience. Doesn't require that you practice yoga for 2 hours. Doesn't require that you have discovered some amazing crop circle UFO secret society truth. It's just the note itself. And the note is present at all times on the path. And it's just a matter of noticing it. So here we are. I'm calling your attention to that note. Not because I only want you to know that note, but because I simply want you to be aware and not to get stuck and not to suffer. Because I can guarantee you this, if you're doing one thing over and over and over and over again, you're just going to start suffering again. Doesn't matter how high or beautiful or whatever it is. You will grow weary of having had an out-of-body experience. You will grow tired of the psychic aura reading crystal stuff that you're doing. It will grow boring. It will lose its oomph like anything else. And so in that moment of losing its oomph, and it's perfectly okay for this to happen, and it's natural, in this moment there's the note. The note is calling to you. The note of peace, the note of awakening, the note of blue-collar enlightenment. I think that that's what I wanted to say about this funnel, this funny spiritual funnel. And I hope this helps you. I hope this kind of jolts you a little loose from where you are and helps you to recognize the full picture, the full quality of the path here. So I'm Jeff Stewart Dixon, and I do leave comments and interact, and I'd be happy to hear about where you are on the path. Love to hear about that. And I answer and do the comments at bluecollar-enlightenment.com. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today, and I will see you in the next video.